Should we allow more refugees into the UK than we can cope with?
The short answer is no.
A virtual stampede of people coming into Europe.
The migration crisis in Europe.
Led to that migrant crisis in Europe.
Mass migration and the current refugee crisis hitting the EU.
Total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what the hell is going on.
At least this guy hinted to a good thing in his entire hate speech. It is true, we should find out what is going on. And why are citizens and politicians so dramatic about this so-called refugee crisis? Why this fear and talk about a refugee flood and even a refugee invasion? From the way politicians describe this issue, it would appear that no one is having a tougher time than Europeans. These people didn't come here because they wanted, they came here because they had no choice. They fled from war and oppression. They lost their homes and some lost their families. They are not here to steal your jobs or change your culture. They are here in order to survive and protect their loved ones. You have food in abundance, but you lost yourselves to greed and are now willing to give but little. In fact, the total number of refugees who reached Europe represents only 0.25% of the total population of the European Union. But if we choose to ignore numbers, then it is very easy to blow things out of proportions and see the refugees as a threat to the security of the European Union and to its culture. Let's put things into perspective. According to the United Nations, there are about 65 million displaced people worldwide, among which there are 21 million refugees who fled their countries because of wars. 40% of them are hosted in North Africa and the Middle East, excluding from this region the rich Gulf states. 29% of them are hosted in Africa, 14% in Asia and Pacific, 12% in Americas, and only 6% in Europe. There is no refugee crisis in Europe. There are only refugees seeking shelter because their homes have been destroyed and they are in want of protection, because if they go back to their countries, they risk being killed. Labels such as refugee crisis or refugee flood or even a refugee swarm distort the real image and make it look like the refugees themselves are posing a threat to the West. In Jordan and Lebanon, who have a combined population of only 10 million people, there are 1.5 million refugees who have been accommodated and integrated in the society. As such, we should not look at the situation in Europe as portrayed by the media, where the main question is, does Europe have the means to deal with the crisis? It is more about, is Europe willing to extend a helping hand to the refugees?